Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, when you face trials of any kind. For you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. And you want to know what it says after that? It says, let perseverance be complete, that you may not be lacking anything. Right? And I might not have gotten that word for word, but that's not the point. That was James 1, 2 through 3, and then 4 after. The point isn't if I got the complete word for word. The point is that, you know, when hard times come upon us, man, when storms, hard times where we're scared or down in the dumps or emotional, man, it's so easy for us just to get angry or down or anything but happy and joyful, right? You know, when something hard strikes your life, you might get frustrated, you might get nervous, you might get angry. When something scary happens, you get fearful, full of fear, you get stressed, you get anxiety. When something sad happens, right, that's testing your faith. Yeah, you get down in the dumps, man. And look, it's not to say that you can never feel this way. Of course you can feel these ways, man. This is, you know, we're human. It's a normal part of life to feel angry or even scared or sad or stressed or anxious. These things are normal, man. But we also don't have to let those emotions take over our lives. You know, when we're going through something hard, we don't have to just, you know, look up at the sky and say, what the heck, God, and push them out of the way and start getting ticked off at life and start finding every reason to hate life and be annoyed at life. You know, we don't have to do that. We might feel angry, but we also don't have to become anger itself. When something, you know, freaky or scary or anxiety inducing happens, man, yeah, we're going to be anxious, we're going to be stressed, we're going to be nervous, but we also don't have to become our stress and our anxiety, right? When something sad happens, yeah, we're going to feel sad, but we don't have to become the epitome of sadness, right? And let it all take over our lives. Because even if we feel these ways, man, we can still look inside and at least have some joy knowing that God's going to get us through this. I mean, even recently when I went through a financially disgusting time of my life, this happened near the end of last year in like around October, when I was working so little hours, man. I was working such little hours at work. I was trying just to work just enough to get by. And I was for a minute, right? I was only making about $800 a month, you know, as a 22-year-old man. Even though I could have been making a lot more, but I was choosing to work like 10 to 15 hours a week. Not because I had to, not because there were other responsibilities that were in my way, but because I chose laziness over work. And what happened is that deadly sin of laziness, it eventually caught up to me, man. It caught up to me. And I kept making enough just to get by, right? Just to pay off my credit card for the month and pay for food and stuff like that, pay for gas. But then once that school bill came in, and once those car repairs came in, and ironically, a lot of the car repairs I had to do all came in pretty much at once. It wasn't like my car broke down, but just when I finally got the first thing repaired, you know, after a long time that I needed, it was like engine mounds. There was other problems. It was tires at first. I had to get my tires changed because the one kept losing pressure every other day. It would get to the point where it would say low pressure every other day, and I knew I had to change my tires. And so what I did was I went to get a quote on how much it would be to change my tires. Boom, $600. I knew I wouldn't have that. And so what is 22-year-old man, Justin doing? He's going asking mom and dad for money. Mom, Dad, can you? I know you give me free room and board here while I'm in school and while I'm getting my life together and myself on my feet. But I know you're giving me free room and board, and I know I have a paid off car thanks to you. But hey, can you lend me a little bit extra money, to pay for my tires? Because I've been being lazy and not working. You can imagine the kind of fight that caused. And what it caused is something that I deserved. A lot of yelling, a lot of discipline, a lot of, Justin, you better get your what together, otherwise you're out of here. And again, I deserved all this, man, because as a 22-year-old man, my parents are taking good care of me while I'm getting myself on my feet and getting my life together. Like, I'm over here just letting it all go to waste. I'm over here just being lazy. And then, asking for more money from the people who are already giving me more than what should be expected. So yeah, I deserved all that I got from that. But you can imagine that I did not sleep for a couple of nights. I mean, just slept like a couple hours, but I barely slept for a couple of nights, a few nights. My family and I, we barely even talked to each other. I remember my heart was just always racing. I was waiting for like a phone call to come in saying, yeah, Justin, never mind, you're done. You're out of here. And then I'm like, what do I do, bro? What do I do from there? Like, I was kind of waiting for that to come in. But thankfully, by the grace of God, and of course, by the grace of my parents, after like a good few days, we had a talk, and they basically just said, Justin, this is your last chance. Like, you get your stuff together or you're out of here, right? And again, they've been the most loving, kind-hearted, great parents. I mean, I could ever. I've been so blessed, man. I've been so blessed. So yeah, when they said that to me, I deserved it. I deserved it. You guys have been trying to warn me about this all along. Quit being lazy. It's going to catch up to you. And boom, what happens? I don't listen to God's warning. I take advantage of my parents, and boom, that's what happens. And even after that talk, I was still nervous and shaking and stuff because, after I got my tires changed, I realized there was a bunch of other problems. So now I had to like really buckle down on work, right? And I was just nervous that I wasn't going to have enough to pay for anything. I'm talking engine mounts, tie rods, coolant flush, transmission fluid flush, new 12-volt battery. Like there's all these. I mean, there's a couple more things too. But I mean, it came to over like a couple thousand in repairs because I put it off for so long because I didn't have the money for it. Because I was choosing to be lazy rather than work more, even though I should be working more, right? It's not like during that time that I was off, 10 to 15 hours a week, right? It's not like I was using all my time to like build up a dream life or anything, or to actually go after some kind of goal or dream. Man, I was like AIing my way through college. I mean, I was, I was working just barely, like enough to get by, like I said, and the rest of my time was just spent in my bed, in my room, going out on walks every day and stuff, and that's what I was doing. And yes, of course you should go out and adventure, get outdoors, do workouts, explore the world, build relationships, have some time to yourself for peace and rest and relaxing. But at the same time, if you just make your life all about that, then you're always gonna be left behind, and you're not even gonna be able to support yourself. And if you make it all about work, whereas you're working 80, 100 hours a week, because you listen to hustle culture and they tell you you have to work 100 hours a week and sleep 4 hours a night and never see your family, then it's like, okay, now you just become like an angry, lonely dude who has no relationships. It's like, so instead of doing one side of the extreme, working 100 hours a week and sleeping 4 hours a night, or instead of doing the other side of the extreme, working 10 hours a week and spending like 80 hours a week just in your bed being lazy, doing nothing, you got to balance it out, man. Work as much as you need to. Yes, to get by, yes, to support yourself, but also to support those that are around you if you needed. And also, of course, to save a few extra bucks. Work as much as you need to for your own self and situation, and be able to take care of the others that you might be taking care of. And then balance that out with having that free time, that time of adventuring, going out, building relationships, resting, relaxing, right? You got to balance everything out, man. And I was not balancing everything out. I mean, my work ethic was down here, my laziness was up here. No. And laziness is when you're relaxing too much. If you just relax or take a break, that's not laziness, man. It becomes lazy when you make life all about that, right? And you put that above your work. That's when it becomes laziness. But then you start to balance it out. All right, now it's actually relaxing, and now it's actually working, right? Versus it's not laziness anymore. You got to balance stuff out in life, man. But the bottom line behind that story, man, is that was stressful, man. I remember just the entire rest of winter, basically, I could barely sleep, and I was constantly nervous. I was constantly just like, oh, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Am I going to have enough to pay? If I don't have enough to pay, I'm going to be thrown out. What am I going to do? Like, all these thoughts just running through my mind, man. And, I look back at it and I see, hey, God got me through that just like he got me through everything. Yeah, it was scary. Yeah, it was stressful. But he got me through that just like he got everything. And just like he got me through everything. And you know what I've been doing since then? Anytime I have hard times in my life, which a lot of times lately it's been kind of being down, looking back at my past, just kind of wishing I made some better decisions, but also missing all the good times I had with the good people I met in my life. So a lot of the hard times for me lately has been more just kind of being down or sad. Not that it's like that 24/7, but when I do have hard times here and there throughout my week, throughout the month, that's mostly what it is. Even though I feel down or in the dumps, sometimes I feel angry, ticked off. There are some times in life where I feel stressed, thinking about my future. I still, even though I'm not smiling, even though I don't feel happy, I still have joy inside. I still have joy inside because I know God's going to get me through this, just like everything else. And so, as you know, God's word doesn't say, hey, make sure to smile and be happy and never be angry or sad again. I mean, heck, Jesus got angry at times. Jesus cried. Jesus was sad. So, you know what? God's word never says that, but it says, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, when you go through trials of any kind, right? So, again, even though I don't feel happy, I've still been able to have some joy inside just because of my faith, man, because I know that in the end, hey, God's going to let this work out just like everything else in my life. It's going to work out in some way or the other, in one way or another. I don't know how because he can't show me the future. I mean, he could, but like, you know, he hasn't, right? He probably won't, because it's all a mystery. You know, he hasn't shown me the future. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I know it will. Just like Jesus says, you know, you might not understand now what I'm doing, but someday you will. So true, man. So even if you don't feel happy, you're still going to have some joy inside. Still find that joy inside of you, knowing that everything's going to work out no matter what. And any thought that tells you that it's not going to work out or it's going to fail or whatever, that's all just the devil playing with your mind. And so you can choose to either believe the devil who's playing with your mind, who's getting in your head, saying it's not going to work out, it's all going to fall apart, it's all going to be screwed up, right? You can either choose to believe lies because it's easier to believe because of the way you feel, or you can choose to believe the truth, which is kind of harder to believe because you don't know how it's going to turn out. But the truth is that God has plans for us to give us hope in the future. Like his word says, he has plans to prosper us, not to harm us. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, when you go through trials of any kind. Do not be afraid. His word says all this stuff, man. So are you going to listen to the lies that the devil tells you because it's easier to listen to it because of how you feel? Or are you going to listen to the truth that God gives to us, even though it's not as easy, right? And when you understand that God's word is fully the truth and that everything always works out, look back on your life, man. How many times have you gone through stuff that you thought was never going to work out, but it ended up working out for the best in the end? And even if you don't really think it worked out that much today, like, oh man, you know, I wish I didn't break up with her, or I wish we didn't break up, it could have been good. It's like, no, dude, God was protecting you from something. It all happens for a reason, and once you accept that and you can move on from it, that is when you'll find your joy inside. Because again, you're going through trials and tribulations, man, so consider it pure joy. Even if you don't feel happy, you can still find that joy inside of you, knowing that it's all going to work out for the best in the end, even if you don't see it now, or don't really feel it now. The point isn't whether you see it or feel it. Faith is you believe it, even if you don't see it or feel it or understand it. That's faith right there. And I mean, faith has been proven to you time and time again. All those hard times that you went through, that you've gotten through, all those storms, all those rough times, those moments in your life, you've gotten through them all, man. God's gotten you through them all. So consider it pure joy when we go through trials of any kind, for we know that the testing of our faith produces perseverance. It makes us stronger, it makes us better. It makes us better men. Testing of our faith, man. And when our faith is tested and we pass those tests, that's what builds our faith even stronger. And as it continues to say, you know, let perseverance, you know, do its thing, basically, so that way we do not lack anything. Because we need to go through those hard times in life, man. Otherwise, if I did not go through that hard financial time, I would still probably be working the least amount possible and just barely making enough to get by, and then end up being more financially stressed in the end. End up being a grown man, you know, living in his parents' basement forever. That's what would happen. So yeah, those hard times, those storms, they need to happen, man. They need to happen to make us stronger and better. So understand that even though you don't like it, you don't feel happy, hey, it needs to happen. You're going to get through it just like everything else. God is going to get you through it just like everything else. And it's all going to work out for the best in the end. So even if you don't feel happy, you can still have that joy inside, knowing that it's for a reason. It's going to work out for the best in the end. And it's only going to make you better, whether it be wiser or stronger or smarter or etc. It's going to make you better in some way, as it always has and always will. So let us move forward, never forgetting that. And I was even listening to this song this one time before we go get our workout in here. It's called "Hold On" by Disturbed. D-S-T-U-R-B. Such a powerful song, man. But one of the lines are, "Weather the storm, the pressure is on. You can't stop us. This is where we belong. We hold on." And maybe he didn't mean it this way, but this is how I take it. Weather the storm, right? Get through that storm. The pressure is on. Yeah, it's a lot of pressure. It's on, man. But we're going to weather that storm. You can't stop us. Devil, you can't stop us, because this is where we belong. right? This is where God put us to be. This is where we belong. So we hold on to our faith. Now, of course, it sounds a lot cooler when it says it in the song versus me saying it, but I mean, that song was so great, man. It's always hit so hard, so good. It's called Hold On by Disturb. Great song, man. You listen to it, it's so powerful. And like I said, I don't know if he meant it that way in like a you know, faith-based way, if you will, but that's how I take it. And even if it's not what he meant, it's still true, man. It's still true. Weather the storm, the pressure's on. You can't stop. Devil can't stop us, because this is where we belong, right where God put us. When we hold on, we just got to hold on to our faith, man, with all we got. Never let anything rip us away from it, and it'll all work out. And we'll pass the test, and we'll look back saying, thank God I held on to my faith. Thank God I stuck with you, God, every single time you come through. I don't know how you do it, but you do. So don't forget that. Oh yeah, check that out. I just got done trying to catch some turtles with a net. And it's funny because I did the other day. I actually caught a snapper and a big red-eared turtle at this lake that I'm at. But yeah, it's starting to get to that time where it's like, all right, time to go back to the car before before Mother Nature strikes. And this right here is my warning. So with that being said, I'm going back to the car. Unfortunately, I did not catch anything today, so there's no point of even putting it on the video. But I do want to try again on another day that I have off, because there's still quite a few places I got to go this summer and quite a few things I got to do in terms of like little adventures. So that'll be one of them. But yeah, that's not looking pretty. That's Mother Nature telling me, hey, get back to the car. Well, I mean, God actually telling me to get back to the car. Dude, look at that. Wait. Those clouds. They're like going to mix together with those other clouds or something, or either that or they're a little bit lower, but they're passing faster. Either way, that looks like a lot of fun. I saw some lightning down that way too, so I'm gonna have to be heading back. And I'm only a little bit away from my car. My car's like in that parking lot over there, so I'm fine. But this right here is my warning shot, so I'm gonna take it, and I will see you back at the car. And talk about some perfect timing, because it's starting to rain. Talk about perfect timing. Oh, praise God. See, I'm telling you, when you get that gut feeling to like do something or not do something, like I got the gut feeling to start heading back to the car when I did. Even though I saw like the clouds starting to form way before that, I just got that gut feeling to go back to the car, when I did. You listen to your gut, bro. You listen to your stinking gut. But that being said, let's hope this calms down a little bit, at least a little bit, before nighttime hits, because I did what some might call a little irresponsible today. Hold up. And I did the fun thing first. Yep. I went to go catch some turtles before I got to my workout, before I got to our talk today. So I did what some, including myself, might call irresponsible. But you know what? You live and you learn. And clearly I should learn from this one. So yeah, I got my fun in first. So that one's on me though. That one's on me. And I see this guy just standing out in the middle of this rain. Hey, respect to that, man. That's so Midwest of him. So yeah, what we're gonna do is get heading out for now, and then I'll see you a little bit later on for our Bible reading, and so I can, do what I didn't do earlier. All right, this is where we ended up today. Right in this parking lot over here. Why is that? Because, well, the first round of storms ended, but the second round is gonna be coming fairly soon. So it's not like I got some fancy special spot to go to, man. I just gotta work with what we got, and well, it's probably gonna be my safest bet. Fairly close to home, and yeah, at least a place to at least get a little workout in. Hopefully before storms start hitting. I mean, I was seeing we were getting tornado watches. Where I'm at, we're getting tornado watches, and we're getting severe thunderstorm. Well, I got a couple warnings earlier. Flood watch. So I mean, yeah, it's just a mess with the weather today, man. Just like my stinking hairdo. So yeah, I want to get this thing going. I want to get this thing moving. before any kind of storms hit. So yeah, you know what? Let's get to it. Well, today we got push, so I'm just gonna be doing like push-ups, hitting chest, shoulders, and triceps. So that is the deal for today. Let's go. Ah. 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 Yeah. 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 Ah. Yeah. Ah. 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 Yeah. 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 Ah. Yeah. Ah. Yeah. Ah. Ah. Yeah. Yeah. Ah. 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 And my man, just a little bit of advice, just in case you decide to do body weight workouts or outdoor workouts like this or anything. Wear gloves, even in the summertime, because I'm seeing a little bit of broken glass around here. And there was one time, and this is when I started like buckling down in the gloves. There was one time where I decided, yeah, I'm not gonna use my gloves. It's no big deal. You know, I'm a man, right? I can handle it. And I go to get in like a handstand form position. This is like way back in one of my older videos that I stupidly deleted when I used to do just workout videos. I went to go do like a handstand or something. It was under a pavilion, and boom, boom, piece of glass right into my hand, man. And it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, you know, I'm a man, I can handle stuff like that, but at the same time, you know, yes, we're men and we can handle it, but it doesn't mean that we have to kind of act like Mr. Tough Guy, right? It doesn't mean that you got to go around and be like, oh yeah, well, if I get stabbed or cut by a piece of glass, you know, no biggie. It's like, dude, it's better to prevent yourself from getting cut, especially if there's some kind of like weird, like disease or something on that. Because it's like I could go around and be like, oh, I'm a man, right? Right, I'm a man. I'm Mr. Tough Guy, and I could go ahead and get cut by a bunch of glass. But if I keep doing that over and over, before you know it, one of those pieces of glass is going to have some kind of weird disease on it, or it's going to have a shard that gets stuck in my hand, and it's going to, be some kind of big bill. So it's like, dude, yeah, we're men and we can handle it, but we also got to be smart too, It's not about being Mr. Tough Guy all the time. It's about being smart too. So if you can prevent yourself from getting more hurt than you need to, right? It doesn't mean you got to be dramatic or freak out about it, but it's like, dude, a simple pair of gloves, man, while you're working out. Plus, gloves help the grip really good too, especially if you're doing pull-ups. Or even push-up, like it helps you to keep that grip better too. So it has that benefit. If it didn't have a benefit, if it was making me slip all over the place and I was slipping and I couldn't even hold the form, then I would be like, yeah, okay, I kind of got no other choice here. But I mean, gloves have the benefit of just having a better grip too. So better grip and keeps you more protected against getting cut by some kind of random piece of glass around. I saw a couple pieces of, it looked like beer bottle glass shards over there. So I was like, yeah, I thought I would just bring that up and at least mention it. Here, check out this view. Check this out. Tell me that's not beautiful. It's beautiful in its own way. I mean, because yeah, you got like the little sunset cloud back there, right? Like a little bit of the sunset. It's a lot nicer to see in person. But I just thought that was a really nice view. And the winds are getting high now, man. And this was a flood. This was just from earlier. This is just from about an hour of rain earlier in the day. So if it's going to rain and storm even more and be worse the second time around, I can only imagine how much it's going to flood then. So yeah, I wanted to show that little view. I'm going to go finish up my workout, and I will see you back in the car for the Bible reading. Hopefully no storms hit till I get home, or at least till I'm driving home, then at least I get to kind of experience that cool driving through the storm. But if it hits during the Bible reading, it might distract. The rain sounds might distract. Because it's like the really hard, it's not like that peaceful rain. Earlier it was like that hard rain, like, pelting against the glass, and you got to have your windshield wipers on full blast, and they're going crazy, and you can't even hear your own music when it's 80% of the way up. So it's like yeah, that would not make for a very peaceful or calm Bible reading. But anyway, let me go finish this, see you at the Bible reading. All right, leaving off where we left off last time at Mark 8. So here we go. During those days, another large crowd gathered. Since they had nothing to eat, Jesus called his disciples to him and said, I have compassion for these people. They have already been with me 3 days and have nothing to eat. 3 days and nothing to eat. Oh, here we go. If I send them home hungry, they will collapse on the way because some of them have come a long distance. His disciples answered, but where in this remote place can everyone get bread to feed them? How many loaves do you have? Jesus asked. 7, they replied. He told the crowd to sit down on the ground. When he had taken the 7 loaves and given thanks, he broke them and gave them to his disciples and to distribute to the people, and they did so. They had a few small fish as well. He gave thanks for them also and told the disciples to distribute them. The people ate and were satisfied. Afterward, the disciples picked up 7 basketfuls of broken pieces that were left over. About 4,000 were present. After he had sent them away, he got into the boat with his disciples and went to the region of Dalmanutha. The Pharisees came and began to question Jesus. To test him, they asked him for a sign from heaven. He sighed deeply and said, Why does this generation ask for a sign? Truly I tell you, no sign will be given to it. Then he left them, got back into the boat, and crossed to the other side. The disciples had forgotten to bring bread, except for 1 loaf they had with them in the boat. Be careful, Jesus warned them. Watch out for the yeast of the Pharisees and that of Herod. They discussed this with one another and said, It is because we have no bread. Aware of their discussion, Jesus asked them, Why are you talking about having no bread? Do you still not see or understand? Are your hearts hardened? Do you have eyes but fail to see and ears but fail to hear? And don't you remember when I broke the 5 loaves for the 5,000? How many basketfuls of pieces did you pick up? 12, they replied. And when I broke the 7 loaves for the 4,000, how many basketfuls of pieces did you pick up? They answered, 7. He said to them, Do you still not understand? They came to Bethsaida, and some people brought a blind man and begged Jesus to touch him. He took the blind man by the hand and led him outside the village. When he had spit on the man's eyes and put his hands on him, Jesus asked, Do you see anything? He looked up and said, I see people. They look like trees walking around. Once more, Jesus put his hands on the man's eyes. Then his eyes were open, his sight was restored, and he saw everything clearly. Jesus sent him home, saying, don't even go into the village. Jesus and his disciples went on the villages around Caesarea Philippi. On the way, he asked them, who do people say I am? They replied, some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and still others, one of the prophets. But what about you, he asked, who do you say that I am? Peter answered, you are the Messiah. Jesus warned them not to tell anyone about him. And we'll finish that off starting at 8:31 tomorrow. And yeah, the part where it says they asked Jesus for a sign, right? And Jesus sighed deeply and said, why do you ask for a sign? Does it, I'm curious if if there was a certain reason behind that. I'm not sure if there was a certain reason or if that was just in general, meaning that anytime we ask for a sign, right, it is kind of like that same reaction, like, God's more thinking, why do you ask for a sign? So my question to you, if you happen to know, should we even be asking for signs? Should we even be asking for signs really? Or is that kind of showing like a lack of faith in a way when we ask for signs? Rather than just going with what we believe God's telling us, or doing what we believe God's telling us to do, and seeing what happens from there. That's my question. Is asking for a sign a bad thing? If you happen to know, let me know. But I'm not 100% sure, or if that was just a certain given situation that's what that there was a reason behind Jesus saying, hey, why do you ask for a sign, So, if you know, let me know. I'm curious. But other than that, man, this has been our mission for today. And, hey, that being said, now it's time for you to go become that great man God's made you to be. And I will see you tomorrow to continue our mission.